Hey, what's up, guys? And so today I want to talk to you guys about credit cards. Yes, credit cards.
Hey, do you mind paying for this? I don't have any cash.
Sure, I'll just put it on my credit card. I'm never going to pay it back anyway.
'Cause I have $30,000 in credit card debt. When they call, I tell them I can't pay it back yet.
Credit card debt?
Tomorrow, I may buy myself a dining room set or this Boba Fett. Credit card debt, credit card debt, credit card debt.
Now, I know credit cards can get either a bad rap because it's bad debt, it's bad consumer debt, and sometimes I've heard things on whether or not, from bankers especially, that credit cards are not that bad. If you use them responsibly, that they are okay for you.
Want to go to stores and get things because you want them? Then use my Horton card. It's reliable, it's no fuss, it's a fancy plastic IOU card that will have you swimming in debt for the rest of your and your offspring's life.
Now, where do I sit? I mainly lean towards them not being a good thing, especially for someone that's just starting out building wealth, or someone that's just starting out in their wealth building journey. Credit card debt is probably not a good idea. Credit cards can be very dangerous. Personally speaking, I used credit cards when I was younger, wasn't managing them correctly, and got into some bad debt. I had to pay that off, and it just wasn't a good experience. And so I got burnt, and I've decided not to get burnt anymore. Now, I do have some credit cards, but I don't use them that often.
You can use it in some places that pay me to accept your card. Otherwise, you can just use money, which is what people who are taking your money would prefer. I'm an expensive middleman who's charging everyone extra for using my plastic cutout.
A lot of it is just to know that it's there, but I don't even consider them to be helpful even though they're there. I have a robust emergency fund. I have robust backup funds. I have investments. I'm in a good position financially. Now, I understand why people would use them for emergencies or to collect rewards or any of that. I get it, and I understand. It's just, for me, it's not for me. And I want to show you some numbers on just to consider if you are thinking about whether or not credit card might be for you. Credit cards in general may be for you. If it's something that I don't really need, and it's something that I'm not really using or want to take advantage of, like rewards.
But the more you use our card, the more worthless things we'll give you. All right, yes, let's hear it for stuff, or even better than stuff, cash back, which is just a tiny portion of money that you'll use to pay off the debt. But of course, you'll never see actual money. The more you charge, the more cash back we give you. It's like you're digging a hole, and we throw in a handful of dirt to help you get out of the hole, but only after you dig 5 feet deeper. If you're worried you might not be able to pay off this credit card, we'll encourage you to get another card to pay off that one, and then another to pay off that one. The more credit cards, the more you have to pay, and the more you owe us.
And I get it, I might be missing out, but there's so many things out there that I'm missing out on that I'm okay with. That's just personally me. Now, if you're the type of person that, has the FOMO, fear of missing out on stuff, including some reward points, then I get it. But that's not me. I just don't care. Are credit cards okay when you're building wealth? I suppose. I didn't need them building wealth. A good strategy if you want to build credit is to get a secured line of credit. You can go into a credit union and you can put down $1,000 into a CD or savings account. They can give you a line of credit for $1,000. You just pay that line of credit off every month, and then at the end of the 12 to 24 months, they give you back the $1,000 deposit that you put in. They might charge you a $50 fee or something, and then you have built your credit using the credit line that they use as a collateral for your savings or your certificate deposit. That's one way. And then there's other ways too that you can increase your credit. I might do a video on that without using credit cards. But I understand, why people would push using credit cards to build up credit, swipe it and then, paying off the balance every month, not carry a balance.
That's right. To get a roof over your head, you need to earn credit, which is really just showing you own a little square that you have to pay off continually. Somehow that's what makes you trustworthy and shows you're good with money. We've made it impossible to live without our plastic numbers swiper.
The danger with that is like when things happen in life, because they happen to all of us, emergencies happen, where you might not be able to pay that balance off right away, especially if you've racked up quite a balance. Especially since banks and credit card companies only incentivize you to pay off the minimum. They want you to keep balances. That's how they make money, especially at high interest rates. So they'll just have you pay the minimum, and when you have other things going on and bills start to pile up and you've got rent and electricity, etc., having that $50 credit card payment is just perfect. You're just like, you know what, I'll worry about that later. I'll just keep making the minimum payments. And that's how they get most people. But again, if you're responsible, if you're mature, if you know how to handle credit cards, and you're pro, and nothing ever happens to you, and you're good, then that's fine. I mean, do what you're gonna do. I mean, at the end of the day, you're gonna do what you want to do. Don't get defensive if this comes off as me bashing credit cards. I'm not. I really am not. Again, I have a credit card. I just don't need it.
And to make sure you feel comfortable with spending money you don't have, we'll use this comedian to make you feel like it's no big thing.
I'm from that TV show that's doing reasonably well, so I've got a sense of humor about spending money on stuff I don't need. Just charge my card, buddy. Whatever, it doesn't really matter to me because I'm mostly excited to get cash back.
But I want to show you some numbers just to have this at least give you some information on whether or not you want to still have a credit card or get a credit card. So I found this article from LendingTree.com, pretty fascinating when it comes to credit card statistics. So let's take a look. How much credit card debt do Americans have? 819 billion, period. That's a lot. 819 billion. That's America's total credit card balance. That's a balance. That's total American balance is $819 billion in credit card debt. The latest Fed data shows that the consumer credit card balances rose to $819 billion in the fourth quarter of 2020, up from $807 billion in the third quarter. So yeah, that's not good. Even though balances rose from quarter to quarter, they're still down significantly from fourth quarter of 2019 when balances stood at $927 billion. That is good. The highest seen since the report began in 1999 and likely the highest in history. Credit card debt in America is still high by historical standards, however. It's also light years beyond the $478 billion that we saw 21 years ago in the first quarter of 1999. Yeah, more than doubled since then. So this is a cool little graph here, total outstanding credit card balances. You see how credit card balances has just been part of our culture and has been fed into us that, things are good and we just keep spending, spend. Consumer, you need to spend, consumer. That's what that's telling us. Now, this is very interesting here. What's the average interest rate on people's credit cards? What about those who carry balance? What about new credit card offers? Well, take a look here. For all credit cards, the average APR was 14.65%. That's ridiculous. And that's only in the fourth quarter of 2020. For cards that are accruing interest, in the average Q4 2020 was 16.28. For new credit card offers, the average today is 19.37%. Are you serious? And here's just a breakdown right here of all those different rates. Now that's just ridiculous. Now I thought this little piece of information from creditcards.com, ironically, I thought that was pretty interesting because I think this is telling when it comes to like me and you and how it could potentially affect us as consumers. So what is the average credit card debt? It depends how you measure it. The average credit card debt is $1,621 per account. U.S. adults with credit report and social security number. 2,044 average balance on stored credit cards. $3,824 per person. U.S. resident adults. $5,111 per cardholder, excluding unused cards and store cards. $4,600 per U.S. adult with credit card. And check this out, $5,897, $6,000 basically, is the average balance on credit cards at the end of 2020, according to Experian. $6,000 is the average balance. Now, if you take into consideration the minimum payment that most people pay, right, on these credit cards, it will take you almost 9 years to pay off this card. Not to mention the accrued interest you're going to be paying. That's a lot of interest for 9 years. That's why it's so difficult for people to get ahead when they have these credit card balances, because it just never ends. It's just these credit card balances just continue to compound. The same way you compound money when you're saving and it compounds over time, the same thing credit card debt compounds against you over time.
Here's where it gets fun for me and exclusively no one else. We made it so the longer it takes for you to be able to pay us back on time, the more money you'll rack up in interest, and the harder it'll be to pay off. And doesn't that sound like it should be illegal? It's not, it's interest. Interest is a random percentage we charge you because you made charges. This is going to get pretty technical and pretty crimey, so let's look at a graph. If you're the average American credit card holder, then you owe more than $10,000 in debt. Let's say your interest rate is 24.99% and you're paying off just the minimum because times are tough, or because times are normal. That means that in 10 years, you'll have paid more than $26,000 and still owe over $11,000 more, and that's just 10 years. After 50 years, you'll have paid $165,729 and still owe more than $17,000. So you will always owe me money.
So that 10 years could take 15 or 20 years. Yeah, you could take that long to pay a $6,000 credit card balance off. But if you're strict and if you don't carry a balance and if nothing ever happens in life and you have a robust savings account, you have a lot of other funds that you could quickly pay off that credit card balance without even flinching, then, do what you will. I'm just hesitant with credit cards. I don't recommend people have credit cards. Typically, for most people, I just personally don't find a lot of utility in credit cards at this point in my life. But that's it. That's my take on credit card usage. Don't kill me in the comment sections, all 35 of you. But I just wanted to give you my take on, what my thoughts are on credit cards, generally speaking. That's all I have for today. If you're new to this channel, please consider subscribing. Your support would be greatly appreciated. We'll see you on the next one. All right. Bye-bye.